Well, hello. How are you? This is Rosa Education. How are you doing today? I'm going to be bringing to you a quickie little video. I've been trying to do this for several months, actually. Been doing a lot of reading, a lot of researching. I printed some stuff down. And since I'm so new to baking, and let me move my camera on just a little bit so I can see straightforward. I don't know a lot of stuff, but I do know some stuff. And some of the stuff is kind of like just common sense stuff. But I really am enjoying baking, so I wanted to bring some things to you, but I'm going to be doing a lot of reading, and this is going to be a quickie little video. I know it's going to be less than probably 3 to 5 minutes, but did you know flour, does it spoil? Can you use it forever? Because you know you can pack flour in bulk in food grade buckets or jars or vacuum seal it, and it lasts supposedly 15-20 years, and then when you do the number 10 cans, or you get them from a processing company that commercially process it for you, they say it can last you 15-30 years. Okay, but depending on the amount of fat content in the flour determines the shelf life. Okay, this is something I really wasn't too used to, and because we've got a food grinder on our KitchenAid mixer, and so I buy whole wheat berries, soft white berries, so different berries, so I can grind my own flour, make my own flour. Okay, but of course there's no additives in it, so this is the good thing about you making it yourself, is because there's no additives. So you, number one, you save on money. That's the biggest thing for me, at least right now. Number two, convenience of knowing I always have flour in my house. 3, I can keep a smaller amount on my shelf, so that way I know it won't turn on me, because it's like most of us, we don't do baking all the time, and it's sporadic. Like me, I'm just a baker on what do we want to have as a side dish or as a breakfast meal. I'll put a link in. Actually, I can't do this because this is on my phone today. Go down and check my channel, and there's a link on how to make your own cinnamon rolls. And I really am enjoying my bread machine a lot more. I've had it for many years, over 15 years, but I really never used it very much. But now I'm using it more. But because of our weight loss program, we have to stay away from as much bread and pasta as possible. So I'm trying to do different things, and I didn't realize that you can put different types of sugar in your flour, in your mix, like a low-cal sugar sweetener. Use honey versus a granulated sugar. There's that monk fruit. There's all kinds of stuff out there. Do your own research. I'm a firm believer on that. Do your own research. See what's best for you. But let's get back to the main point. And here's one of the questions here. The question of all questions: how long can flour be kept? Contrary to many assumptions, flour can vary. Flour can vary. Oh, one more time. Flour can vary. Flour can very well go bad depending on the fat content of the flour. Finely ground flour, such as cake or pastry flour or white rye flour — I never heard of white rye flour, so I got to do research on that one — lasts longer and can be stored in a cool or dry place for a very long time. See, here we go. There's what I was just saying. Depending on what kind of flour, depends on the shelf life. More coarsely ground flours, such as wholemeal flours, on the other hand, can become rancid after only 4 to 6 weeks. I didn't know there was a difference, okay? And I know I've ground some flour I did some that was really like powder, like flaky, like baby powder soft. And then I did some that were like bigger granules. So I'm assuming, so if anybody knows, please post a comment and let me know. Is that what they're talking about when it says here, more coarsely ground flours, such as wholemeal flours, can go rancid after 4 to 6 weeks. Now, I do store, since I've been doing a lot of my research, I've been doing this for about a year, researching a lot of this stuff, because I like to know why I'm doing something. And so I've been storing my flour as soon as it's ground, or as soon as I purchase flour, because I've got some friends that need to do gluten-free. I want to do gluten-free for myself, because I've really noticed my joints don't ache near as much when I eat more gluten-free. Everybody's different. It may not work for you. I don't know. And I cheat on my husband, and he don't know what it is. He don't know, because he already said, "Nah, I don't want to do gluten-free." And I was like, okay. So, but he's got a lot of bone issues. And then So I do the gluten-free, and I grind my own wheat so I can do my own hard white wheat and soft white wheat, my own flour for that. And then, of course, I've got some all-purpose flour I bought at the grocery store. I don't do self-rising anymore. I don't even purchase it. I make my own now. Let me know if you want to see some the recipes on that, and I'll put some links on that with some recipes, because I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and do one video where you make like 5 or 6 different flours. And I'm going to show you step by step by step. And of course, I do the pop-up with the ingredients, and then the full directions and the recipe will be in the description box. But I'm thinking I want to do that because, you know, there's a lot of this research you got to do. Well, you don't have to do. That's just me. My OCD kicks in. So if you, it'll help you, post a comment, and I definitely will be making that very, very soon. Okay, now the best place, of course, like everybody knows, for food storage, you want to store everything in a cool, dark place, preferably with no sunlight ever comes in, day or night. You want to put totally dark, like a closet, or if you have an extra room. We're fortunate, we're empty nesters, so we have an extra spare room that I put curtains up there. They're the what do you call them? They're thick. They're not insulated. They're just double layers, so it's really pretty dark in there. Okay. Now it also tells you here how to make your self-rising flour, and I'll put that in a pop-up and then in the description box. Actually, no, I won't do that. I'm going to save that for the other video when I'm showing you how to make all your flours. Okay, so that's going to be the next video on that one. And then it shows you here also how to make all-purpose flour with cake flour. I didn't know there was cake flour. So as I'm reading, I'm going, oh, there's different types of flour for different purposes, for different reasons. Like certain flours you want to use, like bread flour, cake flour. If you want to make pastries, you want them nice and fluffy and soft. If you want to do something like scones, you use a different flour for that. But of course, if you use what you have, don't go, because not everybody has finances or space to have a variety of flours and know what to use it for. So, and me, my OCD kicks in, is like, okay, here's this baked flour. What am I going to be doing with the baked flour? So I did a little sticky note, actually a sticker, on my container that I have in the fridge in the garage that says baking flour. Then I have one that says cake flour, and I wrote on there what it's good for, so that way I can do a quick little lookie, or if hubby needs to make something, he'll know to look at it and say, which flour do I use? Because he's usually the one that says, which flour do I use? Because I've got like 4 or 5 different kinds in the fridge. Okay. And the most common types of flour, and of course I think everybody knows it, is all-purpose, self-rising, whole wheat, and nowadays, because of all the gluten stuff, so it's high gluten flour. Okay. And I've seen a lot of that, and I have bought some of that stuff, and I have noticed the difference. Okay. That's just me. Alrighty, and let's see here. Now, this is one thing that I thought was pretty interesting. In short, how strongly the grain has been processed or milled determines the mineral content of flour and how it is classified. So, do another research is look at, if you're wanting to buy a grinder, a mill grinder for your wheat berries and other items that you want to grind, do a lot of research, because there's a whole bunch of products out there. A lot of them are pretty pricey. Some of them are not. And since I'm so new, I'm not ready to purchase an actual grain mill. I'm getting there, but I'm not there yet, because my KitchenAid mixer, my attachment that does my grinding, for me for right now, it's just enough. Now, maybe when I retire and I do more baking and that stuff like that, that'd be different. But right now, I'm good to go. So if you can, do your research first before you go out and go buy something. Okay? Because some of these machines, I was really all set to buy this one machine, because I was baking like two or 3 times a week, and I was like, but we were eating it, and it was like gaining on the weight. We lost weight, gained back because of all the flour, so I had to cut that back and stuff. But I've got a bunch of friends who have children. It's like, I want to bake it because I want to learn how to do this, but I don't want to waste my money or my time, so I'm going to be able to donate that food that I make. Hubby and I will get one little bite or one little piece of whatever it is that we make, and then I package the rest and I give it to somebody, because I don't want it to go to waste, and it's someone that I know is going to enjoy it, because I always ask mom and dad first before I give anything to the kiddos. Okay, so here is, now we know how the different types of flour are classified, And I'm just reading this thing here, and this is what I thought was for pretty interesting. The shells and seedlings of the cereal grains are sorted out to different extents so that mainly the inner grain kernel is ground. The degree of grinding determines the mineral content of the flour. The more the grain is milled, the lower the nutrient content, since most of the minerals are found in the outer layer, or the bran, or the grain. I always wondered what was the difference between bran and grain. I always thought it was like fiber, making you go to the bathroom a little bit easier. And that's part of it. Okay? But here's a quick rule. Here's what they're saying. Here's a quick rule of thumb. Finely milled or soft flours have less protein, aka gluten, and are better for light cakes and pastries. More coarsely milled flours are higher in gluten and produce more elastic dough, leaving you with elastic kinds of dough needed for bread. So like the no-knead bread, the bread that's hard on the outside, soft in the middle, that type of thing. I'm thinking that's where that's coming from. If anybody knows, please let me know and post a comment. So now, here's the different types. I'm just going to do a quick little tidbit, but I'm going to do this next, not my next ones. I already got 3 more down the line. They're already locked up and ready for the next ones. There's cake and pastry flour, all-purpose flour, bread flour, high gluten flour, and 00 flour. Till I read this, I never heard this. This is a superfine flour in the Italian pizza flour, and also known as Manitoba flour, Manitoba flour, that it's very soft. Its protein content hovers between 8 and 12%. Unsurprising when you consider those deliciously chewy pizza bases. I need to start this because I make my own pizza dough and make it a different texture. Okay? Because a lot of us have certain restaurants that we like to have or we buy our pizza from. And like for me, the thinner the crust, the better, but I don't like it hard. I like it soft but thin. Hubby likes it really thick. So this is something I need to do some more research and reading on and see if I can make it myself. If not, where can I buy it from? And then, of course, there's whole wheat flour, rye flour, white rye flour, medium rye flour, and then there is spelt flour. Spelt is closely related, spelt is S-P-E-L-T, is closely related to wheat and can be substituted for wheat flour. It has a slightly nutty taste and a comparatively high content of minerals and fiber. So if those of us who need those minerals and fibers, this is a good, spelt flour is a good flour to start using. However, though, since spelt contains even more gluten than wheat, people who suffer from celiac disease or gluten intolerance should avoid spelt flour. I didn't know there was a difference on that. So it's like, now I'm doing more when I'm buying anything with a bread ingredient. I'm looking at the ingredients to see if they have this spelt flour in it. Because that's good. That if you're hurting, you don't know what it is, and everybody has to do a process of elimination of what is making you hurt or pain. As a lot of us have to do research on the ingredients of everything we purchase or what we make to see and do process of elimination of, okay, try it this way to see this works and makes a difference. You have to try one thing for a whole 2 weeks and see if you start noticing a difference, because a lot of this stuff does take time for it to react in your body, okay? Just like your medicine, stuff like that. Alrighty, and then there's another here. Okay, here's what I was saying. With a grinding ratio for up to 75%, the spelt flour is ideal for cakes, biscuits, sponge dough, short pastries. I didn't know what the difference is, short and long pastry. I don't know what the difference is. We'll find out. Chaux pastry, C-H-O-U-X. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Please someone correct me if I am. Strudel dough, pancakes, yeast pastries, gingerbread cookies, and white bread. I'm going to be honest with you. I used to always just use the same flour, all-purpose or self-rising, and whatever the recipe said is what I made. I had no idea there was a big difference. But apparently there is. Okay? In terms of flour, you may have already come across the terms fine, medium, and coarse grained. This basically describes nothing other than how fine the flour is. Fine flours, for example, refer to fine cake or pastry flour, while medium grained flours are coarser ground and have a higher swelling capacity. So they are ideal for making pasta and spazel yourself at home. That's one thing that hubby and I really, really want to learn is how to make pasta, but we don't have that pasta attachment to our KitchenAid. And it's a lot of work. And I've seen a lot of videos, and I've done a lot of research on Google and the internet and all different websites and stuff. And I've gone to a variety of websites. And for me right now, it's just too much work. I just don't have the time frame, with working and commitments I already made myself. So anyway, right now we're just going to be buying store-bought pasta. Okay, and let's see. Coarse grind flour is I'm so sorry. Coarse grain flour is characterized by its even coarser flour particles, which absorb the liquid slowly and evenly, ideal for the production of elastic doughs like bread. Almost all cereals contain gluten, but if you suffer from gluten intolerance or just want to bake gluten-free more often, in this case, there's a whole range of gluten-free flours that are a wonderful alternative to conventional ground cereals. Here's a small selection. I didn't print that part because I don't eat too much cereal other than oatmeal. That's it. There's buckwheat flour, almond flour, coconut flour, and I have both of those. I don't have buckwheat though. Corn flour, chickpea flour. Now that's one I was kind of interested in. Rice flour and manioc flour, MANIOC. But the chickpea flour is a nutty chickpea flour. Is also a very good vegetable protein source for vegetarians and vegans. It can be used in many different ways, but in particular is suitable for pancakes or homemade falfa, F-A-L-A-F-E-L. Don't know what that is. Okay, corn flour, and it's a low protein content. Corn flour is only suitable for baking bread when mixed with wheat flour. For example, it is used to thicken soups and sauces to make nachos, tortillas, and corn waffles. I had no idea that's what they did that for. Now I know. Okay, so that's the end of this one. And I'm just a little bit over my 15 minutes. Sorry about that. But anyway, I thank you so much for watching. And I will post in the very near future how to make these flours in more detail. If you want to know sooner than that, shoot me an email. That'll be in my description box. And just put on there more information, flour, more information. That way I'll know that's where that's from. And I'll go ahead and I'll actually just copy and paste this to you. And I'll send it to you as a PDF attachment. So that way if you want to do that, and I did the research for you. You didn't have to do anything. There's not going to be very much information in the description box because this is going to be a short, quickie video with just some basic information. Post in the comments. So if you are interested in wanting some more information, I'll be more than happy to do that. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and share. Give me a thumbs up. Take care now. Bye-bye.